I came to write vampire fiction literally by circumstance. Yes, there are some parts that are rude. I'd say it's a blend of 50 Shades, or a cross between 50 Shades and True Blood. You're not going to read anything rude, are you? And I went, I'm afraid so. Yeah. The Crimson Crimes, Chapter 11. Winter darkness, silence, and the cold fit precisely together like the perfect crystals. He smiled and kissed her hard, urging her to rub him harder by pressing his body closer to hers. Darling, as much as I would love to get poked in the cold, it would mean I have to take my pants down, and that might prove to be a bit chilly. Magdalene is now the one and only vampire, and that's what sort of distinguishes my series from other vampire stories. I only have one vampire, the one and only in all of Earth, and the one and only vampire, Sir William Simon Hennessy. After living for over 900 years, he transfers his powers to Magdalene. He finally finds the person who he feels is worthy of it. Magdalene's lust compelled her, and she acquiesced. Her fangs easily pierced through the material of Samuel's winter jacket and sunk into shoulder flesh. She bit just deep enough to break the delicate layer of skin. She did not want to suck up his blood, nor would she allow her control and willpower to falter. But the initial taste of his blood heralded a forbidden sensation, that of tasting the divine blood of a hybrid vampire, like tasting, for the first time, the precious runoff of pure spring water. As a vampire superseded her human life, and yet, paradoxically, her mind could not help but remember every detail of her former life. She missed being human, but her vampire mind wanted no other existence, especially with the inner voices of Sir William and Petrabella as a reminder that her fate was to live out the remainder of her life as a vampire. The cold brought Magdalene to a place of peace and quiet. She adored the empty streets and the lack of skaters. She wanted most to whisk her son, her aunt, and her husband away to a different kind of Ottawa, one where only they lived with their friends, the Coffey boys and David Three Rats. But the reality of her life and its ever out-of-balance events would compel her to behave like a vampire, despite all efforts to blend into the city landscape. Samuel was right. It would not matter in the least what city they lived in, because any other city would force them to deal with the same issues that Magdalene would forever have to deal with as a vampire, to find a steady supply of fresh blood to satisfy her needs. They could rob blood banks and feed on menstruating females, or worse yet, prey on domesticated animals. But any other solution would pale in comparison to the preference of warm, fresh blood drawn from a human victim. C'est tout.